In today's video, we're about to be reacting to the new actual stats of 60s legends, man. What is going on, chat fam? It's your boy YUNGFABIANN tapping back in with another vid. You know what I'm saying? And, hey, I don't know what it actually means by the new actual stats of 60s legends. You know what I'm saying? Is we talking like the stats back then were wrong and now they're the actual ones? Like, how does that even make sense? And I'm also really like curious to learn about, you know, that when I'm saying the root, that era of NBA I didn't get experience, but the start of it all, man, the 60s, of course it started like 50s, 40s and whatnot, but the 60s, I heard a lot of OG really good players in this era, and we gotta learn, man. Hey, if y'all new to the channel, hit that subscribe, man, and let's go. Johnny Arnett video.
How's it going, viewers? I hope you all are having an amazing day today, and this video was actually meant to be just for members, but after I did my last couple of Wilt Chamberlain stats videos, many of you guys were asking me to make this video public for everyone.
Hey, I want to react to it,
seeing that that's
man.
what the people wanted, I decided to go ahead and do that. Now, with that being said, you have to understand the context of what's going on. Most of you have probably already seen my previous videos concerning Wilt Chamberlain and his new stats that Basketball Reference just dug up and verified for themselves. But with that being said, if anybody's tuning in and this is the first video that they're seeing in this series, they're going to be completely lost unless I give them some of the backstory, some of the context of this
Wilt
video.
Chamberlain,
So I'm going to insert that intro to this video again.
Oh yeah.
So if you have seen this, skip to this part of the video and we'll all be caught up.
There were so many players, or how many, wait, hold up. How many teams were there in the 60s, right? Was it not like, I think it was like 13 teams or something like that. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less.
Speed at that point. But if you haven't seen this intro, then I definitely recommend you watch it because it's going to give you some very important context on what's going on. But now we have new information. We have stats now listed on Basketball Reference that we didn't have previously. Now, to understand what's going on, you need to understand a little bit of the context of NBA history.
Okay.
So essentially, blocks and steals were not officially tracked until the 1973 to 1974 NBA season.
What?
Wilt Chamberlain's final season in the NBA was the 1972 to 1973 season, which means that if you go to Basketball Reference and you look at Wilt Chamberlain's stat sheet, you're not going to see blocks per game listed because they were not officially tracked until the year after he started playing. With that being said, there are some examples of guys' stats being tracked but not officially. For example, in the past, I've talked about the...
So wait, I see what they're saying now, what he means by the title, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have those numbers, so what are his actual stats?
The Hall of Fame statistician, he worked for the NBA like forever. His name's Harvey Pollock. And so many of the stats that you see listed on NBA.com, Basketball Reference, StatMuse, wherever you see them, those were tracked. Many of those were tracked by Harvey Pollock. This guy goes way back to the NBA's infancy, basically, and he ended up passing away in the mid to late 2010s. Now again, this guy tracked NBA stats before and after they became official. The NBA just didn't decide to make them official.
Interesting. That's
Harvey
so
Pollock
cool.
was tracking blocks and steals in the 72 to 73 season, and the NBA didn't save that information, didn't record it, didn't put it in the record books, and then just 1 year.
But he did it for every single player, every single game?
Later, the NBA league office decides to make that official.
And how did he know what was considered a block and steal at that time? If it wasn't like was it already written in the books what a rebound? Well, yeah, it must have been, right? But it just wasn't tracked. Okay.
And now all of a sudden, Harvey Pollock is doing the exact same thing, but now the stats are officially tracked. So, like I said, many of these stats, all this information was being tracked in the early years of the NBA. So what Basketball Reference has now done, which is where I most commonly pull my stats from, I think a lot of you guys probably regularly visit Basketball Reference and gather information from there. They are now listing stats prior to the 1974 to 1973 season for some specific players where their information can be verified. And this is something that I can never
you're
verify.
not gonna have like some random player stats on here. I don't think that dude tracked like, you feel me, like the third pick for like the small forward position in like the New Jersey like Eagles.
Because I didn't have all the information. But essentially, Basketball Reference got information from the Long Beach Independent. And I'll have a link to the article in the pinned comment, and so you guys can understand everything that's going on here. But essentially, they had all of the information now of the 1972 to 1973 season, so the year prior to when they started tracking it, for guys like Wilt Chamberlain, guys like Bob McAdoo, and some other players as well. Even some of Jerry West's steals we now have some information on as well. So with this information, we have now learned that in Wilt Chamberlain's final season in the NBA, at the age of 36, he averaged 5.4 blocks per
5.4 blocks per game? His last average. What the what? Fam. Would there be anyone above that? No way.
Per game. Now, is this an official NBA stat?
No.
Not yet. The league office is not recognizing it yet. But might they at some point? Yeah, the record books could be changing.
Well, was there any type of video of like when did is it? I thought the TV came out in like the 60s and 70s. No, like did they not record? Was there not any kind of cameras in the 60s? They didn't record the game.
Quite a bit. Okay, so now that we're all caught up, I'm gonna start.
Like this was obviously black and white before, right? But they changed it into color.
Or
was this actually in color? I don't know.
Stats. People wanted information on Bill Russell's stats, Jerry West's stats, and maybe just some stats overall.
Oh my God.
Also, I had some people ask me about Wilt Chamberlain's triple doubles. Because given the fact that we're now tracking many of his blocks numbers.
Yeah, how in the world did they know Wilt Chamberlain had triple doubles if they didn't track steals and blocks? It was all just what, points, assists, and what else?
Or at least some of his blocks numbers. I mean, it was only like 15% of his career we have his blocks numbers for. But seeing that we now have that information, that's got to change up thing for triple doubles, right? Yes. Well, I went and I looked back. I went through all the various box stores and I did the math. So in Wilt Chamberlain's career, he officially has 78 triple doubles. Now that's before we got these blocks numbers. After we have the blocks numbers, Wilt Chamberlain is gaining an additional 31 more triple doubles. This gives Wilt a total of 109 triple doubles.
Oh my!
This now puts him ahead of Jason Kidd, Luka Doncic, and James Harden on the all-time list.
Ahead of
the
James
most triple
Harden?
doubles
Ahead of Wilt
in NBA history.
Wilt Chamberlain beating James Harden triple double stats? What the heck?
But with that being said, again, we only have the blocks numbers from about roughly 15% of his games. So if you prorate that to the rest of his career and do the math, Wilt Chamberlain realistically is getting about to 300 triple doubles, in the range of 300. And if that was the case, it's not even close. Wilt Chamberlain is the triple double king in that scenario by.
There's no way. There is no way, fam. How in the world? In that, honestly, yeah, I do believe it. Because in that era, there's no way the 60s era was a tough era, bro. It was a very fundamental, very soft, very, like,
far.
Easy
so in reality,
like,
if these numbers had always been tracked,
easy that was,
Wilt
bro.
Chamberlain probably has,
Everyone's
north of 300 triple doubles. And that's not even factoring in steals. Like, we have very few of the steals numbers for Wilt Chamberlain. And reportedly, apparently, there were some games where he even got north of 10 steals.
What in the world? March 18th, 1968. Wow, was this a long time ago. 53 points, 32 rebounds. Fam, Has anyone even what's the most amount of rebounds ever by a player in an NBA game, chat? That's a good question. I don't know. If y'all know that stat, let me know it down below. 14 assists, 24, 11. Wow, man.
So with that being the case, yeah, it only just improves Wilt Chamberlain's status, resume, all that sort of thing. But again, most of this video wasn't intended to be about.
It's the 32 rebounds for me, fam.
Wilt Chamberlain. So let's get into some of the new stuff. And unfortunately, I do have some lame news to report.
Okay.
So essentially why we're getting these new stats from Basketball Reference is probably because of just one statistician. I'm going to guess these all came from Harvey Pollock because Harvey was tracking Wilt Chamberlain's career when he was, with the San Francisco Warriors and the Philadelphia 76ers. And what's interesting is Wilt Chamberlain's numbers continue to be tracked while he's playing in Los Angeles. And so I tried looking into it, and let me guys know in the comment section if you have the answer to this. But it seems like Harvey actually followed Wilt Chamberlain to Los Angeles. I mean, and I don't blame him, if this statistician has built his career and the most iconic moments of his NBA career being attached to this one specific player. Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me that he'd follow him out to LA. And the truth of the situation is, anytime we have blocks numbers related to Bill Russell, Nate Thurmond, or some of these others greats, unfortunately, it's only when they were playing against Wilt Chamberlain for the most part, because Harvey seemed to be the only guy who was actually tracking blocks numbers at that time. And obviously that's going to skew the numbers because when you're playing against a player of Wilt Chamberlain's caliber, your numbers are not going to be as great as they are generally speaking. I mean, that's
but like Wilt Chamberlain, I don't know how to explain it, but like this dude's kind of an outlier. Like in my opinion, like everyone else must have been garbage, dude. For this guy to be scoring 30 boards. No one was jumping in the paint in this era. I'm sorry. Like, as we can see, everyone's very stagnant. They're not very moving their hands up. They just block. You know what I mean?
True of Wilt Chamberlain's numbers whenever he was up against Bill Russell. So take that into context. As far as regular season games, we only have 7 of Bill Russell's blocks numbers. Okay. In those 7 games, he averaged 6.5 blocks per game.
What? You told me the Celtics guy with 11 rings averaged nearly 7 blocks a game. What?
So that is less than Wilt Chamberlain's reported career average, according to my videos and my breakdowns. But also, that is only Bill Russell specifically going against Wilt Chamberlain. I'm sure Bill had a lot more blocks when he was going up against teams that weren't as good as Wilt Chamberlain's teams, and when he was going up against a center who certainly wasn't as good as Wilt Chamberlain, which was basically every other center in the league. Sure, there was some other great centers like Nate Thurmond and Walt Bellamy, guys like that.
Trash.
But at the same time,
bro. No way.
Wilt Chamberlain is obviously going to skew those numbers because he's the best competition he had. Now, in 11 total playoff games against Wilt Chamberlain, we do have the blocks numbers for those as well. And in those games, Bill Russell averaged 4.7 blocks per game. Again, these are insane, ridiculous numbers. They just almost look a little bit tame and conservative in comparison to Wilt Chamberlain. But again, you got to take the matchup thing into context. So that part bums me out. I mean, between the regular season and the postseason, it's only a total of 18 games. But with that being said, I'm still glad we have them. It's better than not having any blocks numbers at all, which as of a couple weeks ago, that was our reality. We didn't have, any of these numbers, at least that were verified by Basketball Reference. And now, as I said before,
I mean, what do you think about this, guys? Do you agree, or do y'all believe that these numbers are pretty accurate in the first place? And if so, again, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain just smoke low-key everyone in the modern NBA. Do we think that 60s era was pretty weak, and that's what led these players to be just so dominant in this era? Was it their physique? You know what I'm saying? Everyone was pretty small and kind of skinny in this era, but that's just kind of how people, I guess, kind of were, you know what I'm saying? But hey, there's a lot to learn.
These numbers are verified, so that's really good news. So now let's get into another player who we have more numbers from, and that's actually Jerry West. And Jerry West was obviously a teammate of Wilt Chamberlain in the late 60s, you know, with the Los Angeles Lakers, and the early 70s as well. Okay. Now, you know, at that point of his career,
I'm almost certain Jerry West is what, the guy on the logo?
Jerry West is...
Why did we put Jerry West on the NBA logo?
Past his prime. So in his mid to late 20s, where the prime of his career should be, we're not really going to have that many numbers because, you know, he wasn't teammates with Wilt Chamberlain at that time. Okay. But during Jerry West's time in Los Angeles, we have a total of 13 games that we have as steals numbers. Okay. Steals numbers. Now, here's the thing. This is the first part where I'm skeptical, and I don't necessarily believe this, and I'll explain why. Like, I do believe...
Well, my question is, why would he have wrote it wrong? And to remember and write down all these games, and to then have wrote the stats wrong? I mean, in my opinion, like, what's the benefit of remembering something wrong?
These stats are valid, but I do believe they can be a little bit misleading, and I'll explain.
Could it be wrong though? Yeah.
So in 13 games from Jerry West's career, in the regular season, he averaged 7.1 steals per game. 7.1.
Nah, bro, this arrow is weak.
Obviously, that's an NBA record. That is absurd.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's crazy.
We've never seen an NBA season where a player has averaged...
This is the most steals per game, 3.67 by Alvin Robertson. I've never even heard of this guy. Don Booth, Magic Johnson. Where's LeBron at? Chat, where's LeBron? Alvin's on it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 5 out of 15 times. And then Michael Jordan at the 8 dice. Bro, what?
North of 4 steals per game. And according to this, you know, over his 13-game sample, Jerry West was averaging 7.1 steals per game. Now, I do think there are some legitimate reasons for inflated steals numbers from the 1960s. The pace of play was scorchingly fast. Easily the fastest pace of play that we have seen in the history of the NBA. On top of that, there were stricter dribbling rules, and the rules in general were just stricter. Guys were allowed to play tenacious defense. So because of that, that all kind of just, you know, adds to a guy's ability to get more steals. With that being said, I don't think this number is totally legitimate, and here's why. It looks like to me, Harvey was legitimately tracking any blocks numbers he could for Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, all those guys. But specifically in Jerry West's case, he only seemed to be tracking the steals numbers when they were impressive outlier type games where he's getting 8, 9 steals per game. Because in Jerry West's 13 games, the lowest steals number that he has in any of those games is 3 steals. And everything else is actually much higher than that.
Everything under that was 3. 1 at 5. Everything is right at 6. 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9.
But what really makes it stand out is here's some examples of some games where Harvey is tracking the stats. I presume it's Harvey is tracking the stats of some players from the other team, but isn't listing the stats of Jerry West's steals. And that to me seems a little bit weird. Like he's putting down 7, 8, 9 steals for Jerry West, but these other instances, these other games, he doesn't even bother counting or listing Jerry West steals, but he'll list it for some opposing players. That is not at all how he tracked blocks.
That is weird. Chat, what do we think about that?
Because we know Wilt Chamberlain had some games.
Shorts, man. Why was the thing in the 60s short shorts, bro?
Where he had 0 blocks, and he recorded it as such. He had some games where he had 1 block, 3 blocks, that sort of thing, and he recorded those. But that doesn't appear to be the case with Jerry West steals. And here's what else is fishy. According to Basketball Reference, in Jerry West's final season of his career, and this isn't just Basketball Reference, this is basically verified everywhere, because at that point they were officially tracking steals. Jerry West in his final season in the NBA, he averaged 2.6 steals per game.
I mean, that's still pretty good.
Yet, in the 3-game sample the year prior, from 1972 to 1973, he apparently averaged 8.3 steals.
Oh, okay, and that seems a little bit too off unless he had some type of injury, but I feel like we would know about the injury, you know what I'm saying? So that seems really, really off to me. 8.3 is beyond me, and I think they're just trying to make, at this point, if this guy's lying, he's really just trying to make these 60s players look really good in the future now, and I ain't gonna lie, this era was weak, bruh.
Per game. Now, I understand we're looking at his final season, but those are just one season apart.
Like, come on, bro. The fact that Bill Russell had 11 rings in this era, bro.
And I know it's...
Now, that doesn't mean, like, there wasn't, like, still skill and talent. Like, these players had to do a lot to get there, but everyone else made it pretty easy for him, I feel like.
Real small sample size, but, like, we're supposed to think that the drop-off was that significant? I don't think so. I'm still very impressed that Jerry West had this many games where he was putting up these insane, gaudy steals numbers. And again, this is just mostly from the latter half of his career because, you know...
In Converses, my guy, we're hooping and putting up these numbers in Converses. Like, no, we're not.
Harvey wasn't always tracking these numbers. But at the same time, it seems like he was only reporting the ones that were the highest, the most impressive, the most stunning, and there was probably some games where West had 1, 2 steals, maybe even some 0 steals games, and I really don't think they were getting reported. Again, I don't think that was the case with blocks, but that certainly seems to be the case with steals. So unfortunately, nothing really concrete for Jerry West, like no concrete averages, but at the very least, we know the amount of steals he got in 13 specific games. You just can't really build a solid average off of that. Now, the last thing I wanted to tell you about is some of these stats, these new stats are actually involving turnovers. So now some of those numbers...
There's no, like, radio audio to hear these games, like, oh, Jerry West stole it, like... You know what I mean? Is there like radio of this from this era?
Are being reported as well. One of the things that really stood out,
I guess they just didn't teach us well in history class, chat,
was in a matchup, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain, okay? So this was a battle between two of the best centers in the NBA. This took place on November 21st, 1971, and the Lakers won this game. You would think if you had saw these stats prior to them getting updated by Basketball Reference, that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lost the game despite having a monstrous game, as he had 39 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists, and was 17 of 33 from the field.
17,
so monster game from Kareem, right?
Well, crazy what it did.
He actually had 13...
So I want to react to some more Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know much about him. I remember picking up a book from him randomly in like elementary school in the library, and it said, oh, this was written by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But for some reason, as like a elementary school kid, I knew who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was. How? How did I know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was? That's kind of interesting now that I think about it. Like, I didn't watch classic NBA when I was a little kid.
Turnovers in this game. Brutal. 13 turnovers. That, at the very least, should speak to the defense of Wilt Chamberlain and the help defense that he got as well. 13 turnovers for a center. Just so you guys know, the NBA record for the most turnovers in a single game by one player was Jason Kidd back when he played with the Phoenix Suns. He got a total of 14 turnovers. But this game from Kareem...
I got a buddy who's beat that stat before, man. Don't worry about
it. If it was verified by the NBA itself, that would be the second most turnovers in NBA history by a single player. And it would easily be the most turnovers in an NBA game by a center. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. Again, these are just some of the stats, but there's actually more out there. I could probably dig into more stuff from Nate Thurmond. Unfortunately, it's probably only going to have numbers where he's going up against Wilt Chamberlain for the reasons I explained earlier. But Walt Bellamy's got some new stats in there. Bob McAdoo's got some new stats in there. Also, if you guys are looking through these box scores yourself and you find any cool new stats, please let us all know in the comment section below.
Well, anywho, man, I am finna end the video here, man. I understood what he meant, obviously, watching throughout this video. What he means by the actual stats. You know what I'm saying? Do we trust that these people, you know what I'm saying, put accurate stats? I definitely think the assist numbers are kind of off with Jerry West. Wilt Chamberlain was dominant. Bill Russell was dominant. But I don't know, Chad. I also kind of want to learn more about the 60s era in general. So if y'all think my statement of the 60s is being weak, I want a recommendation video down below. Send me videos to react to learn about that 1960s NBA era, man. But hey, with that being said, if y'all did like today's video, hit that like button down below. Comment, subscribe. Have a good day, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Yes, sir.